Welcome back to Strange Bedfellows, a Julian Fellowes fan cast. I'm Kurt Graves.
And I'm Stefanie Jochman-Deepak. Today, we are discussing the pilot of Downton Abbey. Huzzah!
Woo! All right, we've made it to episode 3 to talk about one of our favorite television shows of all time.
Yes.
Downton Abbey. And
so excited.
The pilot episode, season 1, episode 1.
Yeah. Cue.
Yes. You will know better than me. Was this meant to be a series? Or was it meant to be a television series with many seasons, or was it meant to be a limited series?
Oh, I don't know the answer to that. I assume it was meant to be a show with a number of series, though perhaps not as many as it ended up getting, just because a lot of British television tends to be very short.
Yeah.
And I know that with a lot of what ended up airing on Masterpiece, like American demand for the programs was sometimes greater than British demand. So that's all I can offer. I know it was meant, it was initially conceived of as a spin-off of Gosford Park, but then it went in a separate direction.
And I'm glad it did. I like these people. And I think it was set up for success with this group of people more so than Gosford Park. Because quite frankly, many of those Gosford Park people were not likable. Because they weren't meant to be.
No, I think we have a much more likable cast here. And a cast that even when they don't begin as likable, the series gives you enough that they grow on you.
Right.
And that's pretty beautiful too.
Yeah. And as we sort of touched on in a previous episode, rewatching this, you get to see the seeds of those character traits and personalities and storylines already here in the pilot.
Yes, I think rewatching, I realized that the, twists and developments that surprised me the first time around, the roots were being planted earlier than I realized they were.
Yeah. So when was the last time you rewatched Downton Abbey? Before this time for the podcast.
That's a good question. The last time I rewatched was probably last summer, but I rewatched in bits and pieces. I was in hyperbaric oxygen therapy for part of last summer, just related to some health concerns. And it's a very soothing program to watch when you're in a human-sized bank tube.
Yeah.
So
relatable. I'm sure everyone at home is just nodding their heads and going like, yes, I remember when.
But yeah, it's such a comfort watch. And I don't think I've ever done like a complete chronological rewatch. If I've rewatched, I've like dipped in and out of the seasons that I've really loved and skipped the ones or skipped the episodes that I wasn't as crazy about. So I'm looking forward to doing a full-on beginning to ending rewatch.
Yeah. I turned into a comfort watcher of television shows during the pandemic. So I would say I've probably rewatched Downton Abbey like 3 or 4 times. And it's just kind of like in a cycle of like 4 or 5 shows that like I'll just rewatch them, all of them in chronological order. Not always paying a great deal of attention. Sometimes it's just on in the background.
Yeah.
So like I've probably rewatched it once a year for the last several years.
Oh, wow.
And just like go from start to finish, then watch the movies.
Yep. And then start all
and now
over
I'll have
again.
one more movie to add to my repertoire.
And it looks like a banger. Like I'm super excited for this one.
Yeah. Production spoiler for folks listening. We have not seen the movie yet because it's not out yet. We're recording this before the movie comes out.
Yeah.
Even though by the time this episode comes out, the movie will have come out. So
yes, and we will have seen it.
And we will have seen it, and we will have talked about it, and you probably have already heard that episode, listeners.
Yes.
So, but we're back. We're currently back in time.
Yes.
So yeah.
Doodle.
Do you remember your first impressions of the show?
So I remember I watched it when it first aired on Masterpiece Theater on PBS Sunday
Which is
night.
a very Stefanie Jochman thing to do.
Very Stefanie Jochman thing to do. I mean, Masterpiece Sunday night is appointment television for me. And even in the thick of my like living at school Getting there before the sun came up, leaving after the sun came down, days.
Yeah.
Those Sunday nights I would carve out, and that was my comfort time. That was my, gotta watch it. And I remember the first episode, maybe the first two, thinking, oh, okay, this is interesting. I enjoy these actors. I'm liking the costumes. And then episode 3.
Yeah.
And for listeners, I won't spoil anything, but
yeah.
plot developments ensue.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what am I watching? Who are these people? What is this program? And then I started talking about it in the faculty lunchroom, like every Monday. Did you watch? Here's what's happening.
I love the notion of a bunch of teachers huddling to talk about Downton Abbey.
Oh yeah. And then I was the one circulating the DVDs amongst the staff once I had them.
Nicely done.
So also I will say I had such a Downton fever that for a while it was airing, I think maybe its whole run, it aired first in the UK and then it aired in the US.
Yes.
And
yes. Until that final season, I think.
Yeah. And at the peak of like Downton craze in the US.
Are you about to admit to some internet theft?
Not exactly.
Okay.
I wasn't going to go that far, but I was going to say the one time I got a computer virus, it was because of Downton Abbey.
Yep. Same.
Should I have admitted this?
Well, I'm admitting it. Like, I watched a lot of these episodes with our mutual friend Christy, who was as big a fan as we were, but was much more computer savvy than me. And so she was able to download the torrent versions of all the episodes from the UK well before they were out on PBS.
Yeah.
And then we would just binge them. And we started doing that from season 3 on until the final season, which again, I think aired concurrently, probably because they figured out like, oh, these Americans are just stealing it. So we may as well air them at the same time.
Yeah,
So-
no, I mean, it was like, especially because I knew season 2, it was like, okay, well, now it's the Great War and the stakes are high. And I think I was following enough somewhere on the internet that I knew things would get spoiled if I wasn't watching in real time. And so I found ways.
Well, and that is a problem in the age of the internet, because like you can't have one whole country have access to a television show for weeks
Yeah.
before you start airing it in another country. Like those boundaries don't exist anymore.
No.
And they didn't at the time of this show coming out. This was one of the first things I streamed on Netflix, like when Netflix was brand new.
Interesting.
So I don't know if I came in late to the party.
Okay.
But I had heard great things about it. And so I started streaming it, and I tried to watch the pilot 2 or 3 times and kept falling asleep. And so I really was of the impression, much like our conversation about Gosford Park last week, I was like, this is just boring. It's just, but the reality is it's too many people. It's too many characters to keep track of them. And when you can't hold when you can't connect with any character right away, when you don't feel a connection to any of them, that's when, to me, that's what results in boredom. It's because I'm not invested in anyone, and I wasn't making it far enough in the episode to get to the kiss when suddenly I was like, oh, and now I'm interested. Because as soon as I got through the pilot, I was like, wait, ooh, they're going to go there?
Yeah.
Started episode 2, never looked back. Really enjoyed the rest of the series.
Yeah. And I wonder, so what we know is episode 1 in the US, I am wondering if it was episode 1 and 2 in the UK.
It's very long.
The pilot is long. And I think I had new appreciation for the pacing of this pilot and just how much time elapses now following season 3 of the Gilded Age, because I feel like this season of the Gilded Age, season 3, like took off like a rocket and also churned through a lot of time in ways that the first 2 seasons didn't. And I think what I've appreciated about Downton, but maybe not even realized, is how much time they cover and how quickly. And they
Yeah.
really do go through, I mean, and they use like morning dress to show you how much time has elapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there's maybe a natural stopping point between when, you know, they're dealing with the loss of the heirs and then the Duke comes to visit.
Yeah.
And that could be its whole other plot. I'd have to do some research that I should have done.
Yeah.
But
well, speaking of plot,
I was going to say, we better get to the 60-second plot summary.
here it is. I'm so excited.
All right. I'm going to try to do these stylized for each episode. So here comes our Telegraph report. News from Yorkshire. Stop. Lord Grantham's heir dead in Titanic disaster. Stop. More disastrous? Eldest daughter Mary must wear full mourning for a man who wasn't technically her fiancé. Stop. And her next potential mate has a footman fetish. Stop. Downstairs, servants are expositing, thanks to the arrival of former Batman. That's a servant soldier. And new valet, he of the unfortunate name, Mr. Bates. Stop.
A Bates man, if you will.
Yes. Scheming servants O'Brien and Thomas make secret pantry plans to ruin Bates, while upstairs, Lady Cora Crawley and her battle-axe mother-in-law, the Dowager Countess, get ready to smash the entail that bars Mary from inheriting her youngest sibling, Little Downton Abbey.
Yes.
Stop. As the Dowager says, an alliance can be more powerful than friendship, something solicitor and Downton's heir apparent Matthew Crawley will learn as he slices open the letter that will seal his fate. Stop.
Nicely done.
Thank you. I'm pretty proud of that one.
That's really good. There's a lot to talk about in this first episode, as you alluded to with the length of the episode. I also just love the notion of Cora and Maggie Smith smashing and into like Dowager smash.
Dowager mad.
Yeah. Marvel has broken my brain.
Yes.
Yeah. And, you know, looking back, it's so interesting that I wasn't more interested in the pilot from the very beginning because it is such an interesting start.
Yeah.
Starting with the Titanic disaster.
It's a brilliant, like, what's the word I'm looking? Inciting incident, right? If we think about plot.
Yeah.
And I think will be even more interesting when we eventually dig into Julian Fellowes' television series about the Titanic that's available. So be interested in his take on that when we finally watch it. But yeah, I remember being really excited by that plot connection, that's where he chose to begin.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's such a great way to introduce, in particular, the character of Mary, because her reaction to that, again, and watching it back, I was like, wow, we really get a sense of who this, I'm sorry, I'm going to say it, bitch is.
Yeah.
I mean, she is not canonically called a bitch for several seasons, but we get there.
Yeah.
And those seeds are planted right away.
Well, and I love watching, like having finished the series, watched the films, and really kind of come to love Mary and see a bit of Mary in Bertha in the Gilded Age. Like to be reminded of how much I did not like her when the show started and was just like, who is this woman? She's awful.
Yeah.
And I like her sister so much better to then being like, she is my heroine. I would die for her.
Yeah. Well, and it's an interesting problem to have too, because I struggled with this in the last season of The White Lotus, where like a lot of people were very interested in those. Speaking of Carrie Coon, the three white ladies, three rich white ladies, and I was just like, I couldn't care less about three rich white ladies talking behind each other's backs and sniping at each other and not being good friends to one another.
Yeah.
And it could be that could happen here. I could end up not caring about these sisters at all because it's just like, oh, poor you. You know, like with your entitled lives and you're a little bored and so you just snip at each other all the time. But it's handled so well. And I'm fully on Edith's side for the whole first season.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, I love that it twists and it turns and your alliances change in the same way that characters do. So good.
Yeah. What else is there to talk about on this? I mean, we're introduced to so many people.
Yeah, so many people. And again, we get that great, like, okay, we're going to bring in the new character of Mr. Bates. So he's going to be who's learning about how things work downstairs. In the next episode, when Matthew comes in, spoiler alert, he's going to be our introduction to some of the ways of the upstairs. But I love that, like, you see the newspapers getting ironed.
Yeah.
Which I remember the first time I was watching, I was like, what are they doing? And it's such a great gesture to illustrate, like, what a different life the people who live in and own Downton have. Like, they are having their newspapers ironed so that their fingers don't touch the ink. Right. Or that, like, the newsboy, but then at the same time, so you have a family who's getting their newspapers ironed, but the person who knows their most important news at this point in history is the newsboy who's running the newspaper up. Like, he already knows. The telegraph operators already know, and they decide not to tell them until after breakfast. Right.
Well, yeah, because the telegram comes through early on in the telegraph comes through early on in the episode, and they're like, well, I'll run it up there right now. And she's like, don't bother. They won't be up for another few hours. Like, all right.
Yeah. So I just love the small details there that get at, like, this is the way their life was. And here, it's a very different world, but we'll find ways that's very similar to ours. And so I like that a lot. But
certainly it moved at a different pace.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, today we would know that instantly.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to know even a few hours delay is still like learning it in real time. Yeah. So
yeah, it still feels as striking.
And we get an idea too of just like the scope of the operation happening around these rich white people.
Yes.
And like to see the kitchen and the servants' hall and then their rooms upstairs and how they navigate the spaces that the family goes into, but not when they're there.
Yeah.
Making sure they're always anticipating their needs and then getting out of the way.
And rules for who can be in the room and who can't, in terms of who can Daisy see and who can she serve and where is she supposed to be when. That's really fascinating. I'm looking here at my notes. Oh, that I have, thanks to Daisy for asking every 21st century person's question.
Yes.
Like, why are they ironing the newspapers? Why can't I do this? Like, thank you, Daisy.
So obviously Daisy is also new to the house, which is helpful to us. And new to that way of living. Yeah. So we can get her asking those questions. What's with these rich people getting?
Yeah, it's very useful.
I've never even heard of that. And just the sheer amount of work that these people did.
Yeah, just you're up before everyone else. You're stoking the fires. You are planning the whole menu. You are, getting out the suits. You're ironing. You're blackening boots.
And you're always on call.
Yeah, you're always on call.
At a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always on call, always being watched.
It does make me wonder how much of that is true to the times versus how much of it is for storytelling expediency. And I will compare it to medical shows like Grey's Anatomy, where like you will have the surgeon in the x-ray room looking at the CT scan, and I'm mixing medical terminology here, but like they'll be in the room watching the scan happen and then immediately be like, oh, that's what that is, and it's like no, they would never be there for the CT. A technician would be doing that. Then there's somebody to read those things and then delivers the results to the surgeon who barely ever talks to the patient. But for the sake of storytelling, like the doctors are involved in every step of that thing. So you narrow how many people are in the story by eliminating all of those folks who in a real hospital would be doing their little piece of the puzzle. And so then I look at this show now and I'm like, okay, would they really have the kitchen maid running around starting fires and then also having to help cook all the meals?
I think it maybe depends on your
Especially
household.
when there's all those other little maids that don't have lines.
Yeah, I think some of them might be doing that work. These early episodes are good reminders of like, oh yeah, there are other people working in the house than the ones whose names we know.
Right.
And interesting how quickly they fade into the background.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like that's saying something about us, about that time, about that work that I haven't quite put into words yet. But yeah, I'm sure Daisy wouldn't be doing everything if we didn't know that her name was Daisy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it also speaks to the state of the family at the beginning of the show, because there are so many servants in the house.
Right.
So many that we don't get to know most of them. And then in later seasons, as the family is not as well off and is struggling a little bit to maintain the household, like the staff really shrinks.
Yeah.
And you don't see those background people much anymore. It really is just the core cast, and like they're doing it all.
Yeah. And still making the place look great.
Yeah.
So incredible work. And I really do like the way that this series examines the life of a domestic servant and the devotion that often required, the sort of lifelong commitment that involved, and just what a craft it was to be really good at it, and what pride people took in the work. Because I think that's really important to note and to recognize.
Yeah. Well, because, I mean, you have to live your life with the, I guess, the rules that you follow, your own traditions. And then you have to familiarize yourself with all of the intricacies of a life of a person who has a type of wealth you will never fully understand, because you need to know what they can wear, when they can wear it, when they have to change, what the serving conventions are at dinner, what plates should look like when they're put on a table. Like, you have to know all about this life.
Yeah.
That you will never lead unless you're the chauffeur.
Yes.
or a maid. Because we're introduced. Yeah, I forgot what is that actress's name? Rose Leslie. It is in, like, every time I rewatch the first season, I'm like, oh yeah, she was in this.
Yeah, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, she's so great in this. I like her character so much, and it's like the notion of like being bilingual. It's probably more like code switching, right? But the notion of being bilingual, they have to speak two languages, exist in two worlds, and have knowledge, like strong knowledge of both. It's an incredible skill.
Even just knowing how to address everyone who walks in the house. Like I said, I watched this show at least straight through at least once a year for the last several years. I still don't know anything about how to address people properly in the British aristocracy.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't have the first clue.
I'm sure at some point we'll get into like Burke's Peerage, and reading that will teach me more, but no idea.
No idea whatsoever. There are certainly some people who have more storyline than others in this first episode.
Yes.
We get to know a lot about Hugh Bonneville's character, Lord Grantham.
Yes.
And his relationship with Cora, who he marries for money. We learn very early on.
She is what Edith Wharton called a buccaneer, right? She's one of those American women whose fortunes sort of boosted up the endangered aristocracy in the UK. Yeah. So her dowry has been central to sustaining Downton. And that dowry and her role in the family being at Downton makes her really invested in what happens next now that the heirs have died.
Yeah. Well, and it's fascinating to think that we have not seen the latest movie yet.
Right.
But we know it deals with,
what comes
yet
next.
Another period of Downton being under financial strain.
Yep.
And what comes next for a family like this. To know that, like, it happened a whole generation before. Like 25 years prior, they were already worried about sustaining Downton, and then this wealthy person came in, saved the day. 25 years later, we're going to be in the exact same spot. Yeah. Here we are. Who knows how many years later in the timeline of the show, going through it again. Like, it just seems like this constant struggle to like stay on. And like, how many times do they get saved by somebody else's money? Why can't this family make their own money? I don't understand. Like, there's a part of me that believes they're not very good at this.
Well, that's what happens when you're not doing a job. Like, you're not earning it when your income depends on like earned interest, right? On already existing income. You're the landed gentry.
It's a major theme of the show that we talk about a lot. New wealth versus old wealth.
Yes.
And it's a major theme of his work in the Gilded Age and probably other properties that we haven't watched yet as well.
Well, and I think it's a really great time to be revisiting Downton, given that in the most recent season of the Gilded Age, we have a character who is essentially doing what Cora did.
Yeah.
And sort of like being one of the first to make that move. And we'll see so many others do that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that bridge.
Exactly. Yes. And we learn a lot about Mr. Bates.
Yes.
Not his full backstory. We don't get a lot, but we do know that he and Lord Grantham served in the British military together.
Yep. In the Boer Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And Batsman was a servant soldier. So Lord Grantham, as a man with a title, if he fought, he could bring what would be like a valet for him to the front. And so that's who Bates was. And I mean, talk about, again, like incredible commitment and service, right? So we see that in Bates, although it takes a while. He won't reveal that himself. Right. And I think it's a real hallmark of his character that he doesn't put that out there right away, that he just comes in as this new man working for Lord Grantham and doesn't try to lean on that backstory, that service already. He just wants to, stand on his own.
Another character who I guess we do learn quite a bit about her, though. She's also still a mystery for much of the show, is the Dowager Countess.
Yes.
She very quickly establishes herself as literally the grande dame of like the family.
Yes.
That is her role. Still involves herself with the running of the house and the raising of the children, and feels like because she was in charge of Downton for so many years, that gives her the right to have an opinion about everything.
Yes. I love that. Oh, I'll tell Carson you'll be joining us for dinner. I've already told him.
I've already told him. Yes. Yeah.
So good.
No, I've already invited myself over, and I've already told the butler, don't you worry about me.
I've got this.
Yeah. Yeah. So she's another one we get to know quite a bit about. And I would say that we learn a bit about Carson, but not nearly as much as we learn about him the next episode.
That's true. I feel like we explore Carson a lot more in the next episode. Right now, we just see him as like very good at his work, and very devoted.
Right. And then I guess the next person is really Thomas. But again, not till the end of the episode when I suddenly got interested because two boys were kissing. And so like his scheming throughout the whole episode suddenly makes sense because he has had a previous, let's say, romantic relationship with the Duke.
Yes.
And they've been writing letters, and he's been keeping the Duke informed of Lady Mary's prospects in the hopes that the Duke could marry Lady Mary, gain her fortune and the Abbey, and then Thomas
share
would work as his valet. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he would just be the little servant on the side who's getting to have his, little gay relationship, but in secret, only in private rooms. Yes.
And when you think about the journey that Thomas will take over the course of this series, it's really an incredible start for his character. And, you see him scheming with O'Brien, and then when he's with the Duke, you really see the depth of the kind of scheming he can do, and just how much he's been planning something out, and really maybe how ambitious he is, how much he wants for himself.
Ambitious, desperate.
Yeah.
I mean, what kind of life could he really have? Like, this is sort of the ideal scenario that he could possibly hope for, would be for a rich person with a title to take him on as an employee, that you have a lot of private one-on-one time with, and then you can carry out your romantic relationship in secret.
Yeah. And we see, he's so, and the name of the actor playing Thomas escapes me at the moment, but what I really love about his performance is that he has such a like strong, scheming, sort of nothing can hurt me facade. And in that moment of confrontation when the Duke throws away the letters, you really see how hurt he is.
Yeah.
You know, how even though he was leaning into a situation that was the best advantage he could hope to get for himself, there was some real affection there. He was risking his heart.
Yeah.
As much as he was looking after the rest of himself.
He had a dream, and it was literally going up in flames.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although I will say this too, like, knowing that you have these letters, and the point of the letters is to, if necessary, blackmail the person you purport to have feelings for. I don't know if that relationship would have worked out in the long run, if we're being honest, but
yeah, no, I mean, I'm glad that it didn't, but yeah.
So yeah, we learn a lot about these, and yet there's so much more to learn, and we're really just getting started. What we know is that there is a big question mark about this new person who's coming, the new heir.
Yes.
We know that there's a possibility that they could fight to break the entail that was put in place by the Dowager Countess's husband when he was Lord Grantham, in order to tie Cora's money to the title, rather than letting it go to the children of Cora and Robert.
Yes.
So yeah, basically Lady Mary went from being engaged to, let's hope, a distant cousin.
I think so. I was trying to work out how exactly they are related, and I think it's, what did I write down? Oh, it was like a first cousin, and it was the first cousin and the son of the first cousin.
Okay.
And so
it's a first cousin once removed.
Yeah. So
twice removed from Mary, once removed from Robert.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Anyways, so like she went from basically, she's going to be the lady of the house, even though she didn't really like the guy, and she's going to inherit the wealth, to now she might end up with nothing.
Yeah.
Because she's a woman, she can't inherit, and so this other person's going to come in, and they get the title, they get the property, they get the money, and she has to marry somebody else.
Yep.
Try to find a good marriage.
Yeah. And so now, then she's at the mercy of whoever she can find.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting stuff. In hindsight, again, fell asleep 3 times trying to watch this pilot the first time. So if folks are out there thinking like, oh, I've never really gotten into Downton Abbey, I do encourage you to give it a shot.
Yeah.
Maybe this is your chance to fall in love with the show as we have in the past.
And I feel like this is the show that taught everybody what an entail is, or made all the American viewers sort of research what is an entail, why do they keep talking about it, what does it mean.
Yeah.
And I do think I remember from my first viewing, like hearing that over and over again, going, what are they talking about? What exactly are they getting at? And once I understood it better, I had more appreciation.
And to Lord Fellowes' credit, he does not really explain it.
No.
He doesn't spell it out for his audience. He expects his audience to go do their research if they need to.
Yeah. Which I like.
Yeah.
Like, make me do that work, and then you feel like you're living in that world. It feels a bit less artificial.
Yeah. Yeah. So overall, again, the pilot's tricky because it is so many people to introduce, these sprawling casts, so many storylines, which is his specialty. And we can see in hindsight, like all the seeds he's planting. He must have known so many of these storylines and how they would develop over time, even as he's writing this pilot. And we're only getting so much information He clearly knew where this was all going.
Yeah.
So well done, Julian.
Yes, it really. I mean, it's a really tight and beautiful pilot.
Yeah.
Like you said, sprawling characters, but it gets the job done in terms of establishing this world and then, giving us the one inciting incident and now providing another by sending what seemed like the first possible suitor back home.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of one Mr. Charlie Cox, who plays the Duke in this episode.
Yeah, I've been calling him the Daredevil Duke.
The Daredevil Duke, yes. Love that actor, and I have some trivia about him.
Okay.
So we will get to that in just a moment, but first, let's take a listen to last week's question and whether or not I got it right.
My question for you is, in what way is Dame Eileen Atkins, who plays the cook, somewhat responsible for the world of Gosford Park and the world of Downton Abbey?
Is she married to Julian Fellowes?
She is not.
Oh, then I don't know.
So Dame Eileen Atkins is a co-writer of the original Upstairs Downstairs from the 1970s.
Wow.
Yeah, the British television show that sort of first tackled that upstairs downstairs dynamic.
Good for her.
Yeah.
And here she is playing a supporting actress and doesn't even get nominated for an Oscar for it.
I know.
All right, listeners, I did not get it right.
It's okay. I phrased it kind of vaguely for you.
Did you have better luck than me? Let us know over on Instagram, where every week we will be posting the trivia question and then later the trivia answer. So you can find out if you were right or not. This week, I have a question for you about Mr. Charlie Cox. So,
all right.
Charlie Cox had his breakout role in the movie Stardust.
Love that movie.
Playing Tristan Thorne, the unwitting heir to the throne of the Kingdom of Stormhold. Tristan's mother is Una, the firstborn daughter of the king.
Okay.
The firstborn son is named Primus.
Yes.
Name 3 of the 6 princes that followed Primus.
Oh!
All right, guys. So if you think you know the answer to the trivia question, hop on over to Instagram and write your answer in the comments. And that's it for another episode of Strange Bedfellows. We're hoping to get to know more about you and your thoughts on Lord Fellowes' work.
So follow us on Instagram at Strange Bedfellows. That's fellows with an ES, or email us at strangebedfellows@gmail.com.
And if you would like, if you would be so kind, please rate and review the show wherever you're listening to us right now and subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. Thanks for listening.